very divided town during the Civil War. When the French lived here, slavery was permitted. Most of the Americans that moved into this area came from Tennessee and Kentucky, and they also owned slaves. Things like Dred Scott happened here in St. Genevieve also. An enslaved person went to Illinois, came back, and said that she was free because if you were in Illinois, you were a free person. And J. Felix St. James, a lawyer here, actually got her off, and she became free. And there was 100 cases in Missouri of that before the Dred Scott decision. When we think about battles in the Civil War, we normally think that it all occurred in Virginia and Pennsylvania, and South Carolina, and Mississippi, and Georgia. Missouri had over 1,200 skirmishes and battles. We were had the third most number of engagements of all the Civil War. We had a very divided state, not only from a government standpoint, but from civilian standpoint. If you lived down in Taney County, down in the southwest corner of Missouri, that was brother family against family. It was a terrible, terrible era for that area. And between Kansas and Missouri, I don't think Kansas likes Missouri yet to this day because of that, the burning of Lawrence. Only Virginia and Tennessee exceeded Missouri in the number of battles. So while we didn't have a battle right here in St. Genevieve, it did affect us. We had people on both sides of the war. We had Confederate soldiers that became gunners on the Confederate ironclad Arkansas that ran the blockade at Vicksburg, and several of them got killed. We had a number of Union guys, and one of my great uncles was killed at the Battle of Vicksburg, and I was there with a couple of the other guys in our troop, and it turns out these were related. All were related to him, and but he's buried there. Civil War, we really didn't have a battle in St. Genevieve. We did have troops that came from like Fort Davidson and Pilot Knob. They came over the Plank Road and embarked on steamers going down to, say, like Vicksburg. We had soldiers that came from St. Louis. There was a major battle at Fort Davidson in September of 1864, and as some of my Southern sympathizing friends say, the rebels routed the Union troops. We also had a famous bushwhacker here, Sam Hildebrand. His brother had been incarcerated in our jail just up the street, and had been accused of being a horse thief, and a vigilante crew sprung him from jail and hung him from a tree, and that irritated his brother, Sam, very much, and he became a scourge. And the general in St. Louis once wrote to the people down here, or to the military down here, he said, "You shall find Sam Hildebrand and exterminate him." He was that much of a pain. If you were a Southern sympathizer, and we had quite a few, you had to sign a bond and pay $1,000 for that bond. So it was pretty steep from that time period. Federal troops took over our courthouse and stationed troops in it in 1864. They kind of tore it up, and we didn't get our money back until 1906. Jeez. Congress moved very quickly to reimburse us. Following the Battle of Wilson's Creek in August 10th of 1861, the general in St. Louis, General Fremont, issued an order freeing the slaves of Missourians who were in rebellion. It says the property, real and personal, of all persons in the state of Missouri who shall take up arms against the United States, and who shall, I'm looking at you, and who shall be directly proven to have taken active part with their enemies in the field is declared to be confiscated for the public use, and their slaves, if any, have hereby declared free.
Right, like we're going to make any money now.
August 10th. August 14th, he issues an order to the commander down in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. He says, "Sir, you are hereby directed to send a detachment, 250 men of the American Zouaves, under Major McDonald with one field piece to attack a force of rebels in St. Genevieve. Lieutenant Colonel St. James of the Southeast Missouri Rifled Regiment will act as your guide. Transport will be retained for the troops at St. Genevieve. After executing the above order, the officer commanding the gentleman out of the street. The officer commanding the detachment must take possession of the money of the branch of Merchants Bank of St. Louis at St. Genevieve and bring the same forthwith to this city. Major General J.C. Fremont."
Stop Fremont.
Our money. There you go. No, never mind.
Everybody got to do this.
Our money.
My money. How dare you?
Put my money in that outfit.
Enjoy what you got, Can anyone tell me where this rebel encampment is that we've been hearing so much about?
No.
No?
I had
Order arms.
Well, they listen well, don't they?
Fall out, give me a semicircle. Facing the crowd. Hit these three guys.
Hey, whoa, there. Now, wait just a minute. We didn't do anything at all. We got to get money, don't we? We're here. We're just the regular citizens like everybody else. We're not here because we're totally unarmed, sir.
Does anybody know of any? Does anybody know of any other rebel scum in the area? I ain't talking to you. You stand right there. Does anybody else know of any other rebel scum in this area? Nobody else?
Not going to tell you.
Good guys, good guys, good guys.
I think he is.
Okay. Gentlemen? Flag bearer, drummer? Post over by there. Post. Finally, you guys are back. You can straighten things out. We'll get our money and we can leave. Alright? Right, guys? We got order. Y'all put your money in banks too, don't you? Liam? No, stuff no bank.
What do you want?
My name is Major John McDonald, 8th Missouri Infantry. I'm here to take the money that you have in your possession. Here is my orders.
I don't have permission to release this money to you, sir.
Here is permission. Oh, now this. From the president of the bank to put the money in our possession.
Crowd boys.
United States. This money is now property of the United States Army.
Oh, now.
Don't use it. This money is my property.
And mine.
And we're here to get our property back. You're not trying to steal from us in broad daylight, are you? You know? Company, attention. Turn about. Hey.
I'm going with you to see that this money is safe. There's $58,313.30 in there. 5,000 of that is mine, not yours. Now.
You are mine.
Mine, now. How can you let this go? I mean, you've been my banker for years. How can you let them walk out with my lifetime savings? I can't stop it. It's the government. Yeah, no, it's Where's our law enforcement?
I am your law enforcement.
I don't see no sheriff. Where's our county sheriff?
I am your county sheriff. Now, am I going to have a
Sir, I don't think this is very fair at all. You shouldn't have. I'm totally unarmed. I'm just running around trying to go home.
Stay right there. All right.
Fellow citizens, this is not over yet. This is our money, and I will get it back.
Get out of my formation, mister. You are in my formation. I don't care what he told you. Folks, we have been getting a lot of complaints from the people in this area who are pro-union about you rebel scum.
Scum, here we go
We
with
are
scum
tired
again.
of getting these
Scumming
complaints.
stealing our money.
So here's a little proclamation I want you to listen to and pay attention, especially you hardheads.
We're nice guys. We're nice guys.
Yeah. Proclamation. Headquarters, St. Genevieve, Missouri, August 15th, 1861. To the citizens of the city of St. Genevieve. On my arrival at this place, I found such a disposition on the part of the parties who sympathize with the rebel forces as to seriously alarm Union men for the safety of their lives and property. I deem it my duty to warn all persons who in any way may be connected with such forces that they will be held individually responsible both in their persons and their property. I beg your pardon?
We only want our money back. We're not affiliated with any of you Army
I tell you
people.
what we're going to do. Go right back over there where you go. For any outrage which may be committed on Union men here, when reliably informed of such, I will not hesitate to return at once to this city and retaliate in the most summary manner. It will be no excuse that they did not assist the Rebs. They must prevent any outrages on Union men or take the consequences. Signed by John McDonald Baxby, Major Commanding Forces, John this post. John, you're guested. You will. All right, gentlemen. Take possession of these two guys, these three guys. Take possession of these three guys.
Possession? No, you've already got the money. Oh.
Right here.
You've already got everything for word. Come on, give her. Go on, get. Go on, get. Go get. Have a hole in your hand. Yeah, really.
There ain't nothing left. Right. Get over here, but the other, next one won't be over your head. Right.
Go, Randy, go! Go! Get him!
Right, Miller. Colin. Are you going with us?
Yes.
Do any of you guys have any questions? Nope. What's your question?
Was that a blank? Blank that you shot? Or
Was that a blank that we shot?
Yeah, or was that just a...
We never shoot blanks.
I can see...
of General Fremont, he wrote, "Sir, for the information of General Commanding the Department of the West, I have the honor very respectfully to submit the following report. Agreeably to instructions dated Headquarters U.S. Forces, Cape Girardeau, August 15, 1861, I proceeded with 250 men of the 8th Regiment Missouri Volunteers and Lieutenant Morgan and 12 men of the artillery on board the steamer Hannibal City at 11 a.m. on the 15th. We arrived at 11:50 the same date. I immediately ordered my command to surround the city. That's where the other 243 guys were. They were out there watching you all. I then made an inquiry to the inhabitants, their sentiments, and found the very few Union men among them. And those few were so timid as to fail to express their sentiments. Though I thought it necessary to issue a proclamation, of which I have the honor herewith to enclose a copy. I then caused the branch of the Merchants Bank of St. Louis to be opened, and I took from it a box said to contain $28,633.30 in coin and $29,680 in currency for a total of $58,313.30, and brought the same on board the steamer, which I have the honor to turn over to you in person." I think he was bucking to be a lieutenant colonel. Yeah. Stockholders and directors expressed great gratification at my taking the money, remarking that they considered it better and in safer hands than if the rebels had it, which it thought would be the case in a few days. Major John McDonald. So that's a little bit about the history of the Civil War. We invite you. We have a small camp set up down about 2 blocks that way and about 1 block the other way. And we have we've identified over 800 citizens from St. Genevieve that fought during the war. We also have a number of the Confederate side that from here that fought during the war. And it was really contentious. After the war, there were a number of Confederate soldiers who had fought that couldn't come back home because it was still, the feelings were really running rampant during that time period. But I'd encourage you to go down and look at the camp. We have some memorabilia from the Civil War, weapons and other things there. We have a camp set up, and you can talk to some of the people about what life was like in the camp. We also have a group that's going to play a little Civil War era music for you, so stick around here and listen to the band with no name. So if you have a good name for a Civil War band, see Becky. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Hold on. Okay.